Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. So in this video I want to speak about this aspect of this whole story, because like I always say, whenever there's a story out there, I always ask myself, what can we take from it? What lessons can we grab from it? Because whatever has happened, but there's always something. If there is nothing to gain from a story, I hardly ever share stories like that. I typically share stories that I feel like there's something for us to grab. So I want to speak on this aspect of, Mohbad's absent mother. I did a live video earlier today. So I did a live video earlier today and I spoke a bit about it. And I want to emphasize on that again, because I really want couples to sit back and think about their actions and the consequences of their actions on their children. But I have to be careful about Mohbad's story, because we don't know why the mother was absent for 10 years. We don't know. So it could be this way or that way. What do I mean by this way or that way? Because I saw an interview where they were asking the father about the mother being absent, and he said, this is the family, I don't want to talk about it.
Living together and your relationship, where in Mama did that time?
I don't want to talk much about that, because that is my family affairs.
So he didn't say. So we don't know why. So whether he was the one that told the woman, if you ever near my children, some men do it. Let's be honest. Especially in African culture, where a lot of women may not know their rights to fight for, to be in their children's lives. There are some cultures that even says, once a marriage ends, the children belong to the father. Our culture actually say, as far as I know, most part of Nigeria says they see children as belonging to their fathers, because a woman was married to come and produce children. That is the typical mentality. You understand? So when marriages end, the woman has to leave. So the access to children is only dependent on the mercy or the kindness of the man. I'm not saying that's what happened in this case. What I'm basically trying to say is that it's hard for us to judge that case of absent mother without knowing exactly why she was absent. So was she forced to be absent? I've shared my own story here before, but I'm not going to go too much into it. Basically, when my parents split up, I was raised by my father. So my mother was absent in my life for many years, right? Not by choice, it was by force. Okay? So we can't say, because we don't know what happened in their own case. Like I'm saying, okay, let me say it again. We can't start judging the father, because we don't know if that was the situation, if it was actually the woman that walked away and never looked back. Or, and at the same time, we can't judge the mother, because we don't know if it was the man that said, don't dare come near this. We don't know. So we can't judge it, but we can use this to speak to you and I, and anybody watching this. The message I want people to get from it, because I call myself a poster child, or a child that I am one of those children that was raised by one parent and missed out on the other one. Because let me tell you, children can be raised by one parent, but the other one had access. So they kind of will know both parents. They don't miss out on both parents. Okay, the other scenario as well, excuse me, is whereby a marriage ends and a woman just moves on and never looks back. Some women do it. They find a new relationship and they just move on, and some women have the heart. I'm not saying Mohbad's mother did it. I'm just saying we do not know. And I will give another example. I have a cousin of mine that the mother and the father split up, and the mother was allowed to go with this girl until she was 1, just so that she can breastfeed and do all of those baby things. After the baby was 1, they feel like, okay, no more breastfeeding, no more whatever. The child was taken from the woman, and because the culture says the children belong to their fathers, they will say, when your woman comes and have children, that's why a woman would, when the children are born, they're answering their father's name. The woman just came to contribute children, right? And this woman, actually, when it was time, this my cousin, the mother handed over her child and never looked back. She wasn't prevented. She just didn't look back. She ended up getting married, had other children, and never looked back. You see, so there are different stories. So we don't know their situation. And this my cousin grew up not knowing. She went looking for her mother. And that was how she reconnected with her mother. She was the one going to look. The mother did not look for her. And when she reconnected, they become mother and child. She has no grudge against her mother, nothing. She completely became her mother's child, as if nothing ever happened. So I'll emphasize again, we don't know Mohbad's story. But let me come and speak. Let me now come back to the area I want to speak about is, as couples, when you can't tolerate each other anymore and you know that this is it. You make up your mind, there's no going back. You don't ever want to be in a relationship. No problem. It is the two of you that broke up, not the children. Don't let the children suffer consequences of the actions of adults. Unfortunately, I'm saying it again because some people will still miss it. I am not talking about their own case, Mohbad's case, because we do not know what happened. But I want to speak. Why am I speaking about it? Because even as old as, okay, he's not that old, but like he was up to the age of 27. He wrote that song, according to him, during COVID, right? So that was about 2-3 years ago. Let's say 2020, 2020. Yeah, 2020, 21, right? So he was 27 when his life ended. So he wrote a song, let's say 2 years ago, okay? So at the age of 25, he was able to put it in his writing. For 10 years, I no see mommy. For it to still be on his mind, it shows you that the hurt or the feeling was still there. I watched a video the other day on Facebook about this guy from one of these Arab countries that the parents split up and the father took the child. I think he even told him that the mother was gone, right? Like dead. And he was at this show, and in the process, in this show, they brought out his mother. And now he's in his 30s. And he cried like a baby.
يمكن أو
That was a man that was still yearning for his mother at that age. It's vice versa. Let's not, you understand, it's both ways. It's not only mothers, right? It's both ways. My message is this: when your anger has gotten so hot, hot against your ex, whatever your situation, remember that the two of you, they fight. It is the children are not fighting with their father, they are not fighting with their mother. Don't bring them in between. Don't allow your grievances or your grudge against each other, or what do I say, don't rub it off on the children. They have their own life to live. I've made several videos in the past, and I keep emphasizing the same thing, right? It's like a triangle. So imagine the child at one end of that triangle. So if the mother, father, and child, if mother, father split up, it is their own end of the triangle that is broken. If that makes sense, that's cut off. But this connection, mother and child, no, it is these two that broke up. But mother and child connection, the child did not divorce his father or mother. Or father and child connection, they have their own connection. So when it breaks up from this angle, it goes from being a triangle for that child. It should go from being a triangle to becoming a V. The child, the father, the mother. This end cut off, but let this child enjoy. It's just like the basic things in life. Food, home, shelter, home, education, basic human need. The child, you see, if person papa don't die, if somebody's parents are dead or whatever, okay, know that they died. Even people that their parents died when they were little, they have their own pain as well that they may be able to share. But imagine that the parent is alive, but the child had no access, simply because those people allowed their grievances against each other to destroy or damage their children. Even me, if I narrate my story, it's as if it happened today. I remember going to school, especially on the first day of school. For example, when I started secondary school, and all these children, their mothers, typical Nigerian way, is mothers that would take children to school, and their mothers will hang at the window, and I don't like all this memory, it's just too deep, right? But your classmates, their mother has the window, their mothers want to come and know what seat they would sit, their mothers, and I used to look at the other people and feel sad for myself because my mother wasn't there. I remember it as if it happened yesterday. And I used to look at those children and feel so jealous that they had their mothers, but I didn't. I'm almost, small, I don't dare approach 50, and I can still feel it. My message is this: don't damage your children. I have been saying it for the longest time, and I will say it again. Broken homes do not have to be broken lives. I remember as a grown adult, I was already maybe 22, 23, and I was watching Fumi Yoda on that Morning Dawn or whatever. There was one program she used to present on NTA, and she was talking about when the parents broke up. You know, when we go to my mother, something like that. When we go to my mother, when we go to my father, I was like, wow. I was blown away by the fact that they had the option to go from here to there. Children should have that option. It is not a privilege. It is a basic right. That is their mother, not your mother. That is their father, not your father. So as a wife or ex-wife, your children's father is their father, not yours. You shouldn't have the right, or you don't have a right to damage that relationship. If the father if the father ends up being a rolling stone or a useless father, that's okay. That is what he did for himself with his relationship with his children. That is his choice he made. But don't cut it off. Don't prevent the child from having the opportunity to know their father. Right? Okay, if a father is destructive, do you understand? If there are extreme cases where a father or a mother may not be allowed to see their children, extreme cases, especially when the child's life is in danger. Apart from that, the same thing. Ex-husband, ex-whatever, your ex-boyfriend, whatever the situation is. That mother and that child, that is the child's mother, not your mother. You shouldn't have the right, and you don't have the right to disrupt that relationship. It's not your mother. And the funny thing is, everybody loves to have relationship with their own fathers and mothers. And when it comes to their own children, they want to rob their children off. They want to rob them of the basic things that they themselves enjoyed. I'm saying it because lives can be damaged by actions like this. Whether, you know, Mohbad, there are some other, when you look at Mohbad, sometimes I'm like, you see, sometimes when a child feels, there are tiny things that can make a child feel inferior. A lot of things. I remember as a young girl, you know, the fact that my friends or classmates, their mothers, it makes me feel less. And you can see that those ones that your mothers and their fathers are, you'll be looking at them and you envy them. And in your head, you feel less than them because they have what you do not have. So now I'm looking at Mohbad, I'm like, the way he's too, you know, the way he's like too quiet and shy, and the way he is, you don't know if maybe it affected him in one way or the other. You don't know. So don't damage your children. That's the message I'm preaching with this video. I'll say it again. I don't know the circumstances surrounding why the mother was absent, but I'm just emphasizing on the effect, the consequences on the children when things like this happen. There's so much I could say, but I just want to keep it short. This is basically my message, and hopefully somebody can grab something from this. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye.